Aw, friends, it's so good. I missed you guys yesterday, but man, Pastor Mark, there's something to be said for, you know, style and entertainment and all kinds of different things at different venues that we go to and all the things that the world has to offer. But church seems like it should be different, right? When we read the Psalms, possibly we just see this longing, this angst, this desire to know God. In fact, Psalm 73 talks about this. It's Asaph. He is just this prophet and worship pastor for David that is struggling as he looks at the world and seeing the success of the wicked, the pain. And then it says, but when I came into your sanctuary, it reorients you. And there's something that happens when a man of God stands up on stage and just draws you in, reorients you to just who God is and what God is doing and how God's moving. And even in some ways, you feel like it's the voice of God to your soul. And I just think about during this Advent season, how Peter tells us that angels have longed to look into what we have the opportunity to look into, the eyes and face and heart of Jesus. And so, one, I want to say thank you to Pastor Mark yesterday for filling in. My quarantine ends on Wednesday. I am stoked. Cannot wait for that to be done. Just I miss being able to be active and out and moving around. We've been able to get out a little bit because we've been testing negative now for about a week. But in that, just to be able to begin to re-engage and to begin to see staff. I miss our staff. I miss our elders. I'm tired of texting with them. I want to actually see their face. I want to kind of be in their presence every now and then, even if it's 6 feet from a distance. And so be praying for us. Our kids are excited to get back into school this week and do those things. But it's funny because even in this quarantine time, even in this 9 months now of what we've been going through with COVID, it makes me think about just the longing that the people of Israel had for the Messiah and this promise and how were they able to do that? And I don't think it's out of sheer willpower. I don't think it's out of just a self-help program or the way that they figured out, hey, if we can do these things, I don't even think it was the fact that they did them together. I think it was the fact that they knew intimately, believed intimately, and trusted intimately in the promise of God. And a promise is only as good as the one who gives it, right? And so as we begin this Advent season, as we begin to ponder and think about what it means to be even saturated in prayer, like we're going to talk about over these next 3 weeks, I even think this morning I've been thinking about praying and like, why do I struggle in praying? It's because I'm not always certain that God's there and that God's listening. And so my heart is so prone to wander, so prone towards distrust. And so I just want to exhort you maybe to ask the question over these next few days, beginning this morning, as you maybe go and you check out our Facebook page and you pick an Advent devotional guide of what is it that would draw me closer to the heart of God, to know him more deeply, to know him more fully, to be more present in prayer rather than just more petitioning for things, to be less urgent and more sincere, to be someone who is able to be purposeful and planned in our prayers rather than flippant and quick over a meal alone. And so this time has been that for me, but I'm convicted even this morning as I began to think about this coming weekend of I want to be saturated in prayer, and I think I'm dehydrated in prayer. And so I want to just begin by confessing that to you and asking you to maybe join me in just learning what does it mean to even pray, because the disciples in Luke 11 look at Jesus and say, will you teach us to pray? And so God, that's my prayer, and that's my prayer for us this morning. Teach us to pray. Teach us to trust in your mighty works and your mighty word. Teach us to believe in the promises of God because we believe in the character and heart of God. Teach us to hope even in this season for what is to come, that knowing that our days are numbered, that this quarantine is numbered, that COVID is numbered, that our life is numbered, that our breath is numbered, but eternity is not. Your love is not. Grace is not. Forgiveness is not. And our chance to be with you, to dwell with you, to walk with you, to hear your voice, not just read your words, that's present now and present forevermore. Available now and available forevermore, that the veil is torn, that we can run to the throne of grace. And so God, we do that. We fall on our knees, we open up our hands, we ask that this Advent, this Christmas season would be different from any other, not because of restrictions and mandates and masks, but because of just an intimate knowledge of our Messiah, of our Maker, and of his message of the gospel. So God, here we are. We cry out like the prophet Samuel, Lord, speak, for your servants are listening. It's in your Son's name I pray. Amen. Love you guys. Praying for you. Pray for me. Cannot wait to see you this weekend.